Good evening. In this video, I'll look at the video Bryan Denlinger just put up dealing with Doug Staffer and why he's breaking with him now. He says he has a link on his website, Doug Staffer. I didn't see it on there. Maybe he moved it already. I don't remember seeing one to him. But let's see. Let's take what he says here. I'm not going to play the entire video in its entirety. It's his letter. He's falling in the middle of it. Naturally, it's from a female, a woman. And naturally, it's a letter, not an email. He doesn't get emails. He has to say you have to get him letters. And it has to be it's a woman because the woman always pushes him so sweetly. So,
Doug Stauffer, Dr. Doug Stauffer, BibleDoug.com, I think it is his website. And
just an issue that he showed up on that show, Prophecy Watchers. I don't know anything about this show per se. So the lady in question is upset about that.
To officially pull my support and recommendation of Doug Stauffer, his newest edition of his Rightly Divided book, which, people say, do you really agree with everything you wrote?
I guarantee you have to pull his support because Stauffer, I guarantee, is a Trinitarian. Doesn't believe in this Godhead nonsense this guy's pushing.
So, from what I read, I agree with a lot of it, but some things there were disagreements there or whatever. Again, I try to recommend people that I know are pretty good and whatever else. But, it comes down to it, as I've always stated, that's your authority.
It was up to King James Bible.
Right there. Okay, not man, including me.
Well, he says including him. But you got to follow him or you're lost. If you don't follow him, you don't follow Bryan and his views, you're lost. We're going to see that later on in the video. Where later on in the video, he says if you supported Trump, you're lost. The guy's unbelievable.
But Doug Stauffer's been involved in some things now that I can't just look the other way and say, oh, no big deal, or whatever. And so I've recommended things in the past. Again, I'm going to be redoing the ministry here soon. A lot of the things that I used to recommend are, I've got a lot of work to do. Going through all.
Yeah, he got a lot of work to do. He's got to remove all his links to Trinitarian Bible websites.
There's changes right now, but one of the big, I shouldn't say big ones, but somebody I used to support in the past was Doug Stauffer. I don't do that anymore. He even admitted that his book, Rightly Dividing the Word of Truth, or the Dispensationalism, Key to Understanding Scripture, or whatever, he said that he no longer believes that works had anything to do with salvation in the Old Testament.
Okay. Stuff is improving. He's getting away from the Buckman view and getting common sense. Works can't have anything to do with God's grace. It's either grace or works. You can't mix the two all in order. The fact that they went through a ritual plan and did things like animal sacrifices, those were not works. They were just rituals showing faith. Just like water baptism shows faith. These guys who go in the Old Testament, they're doing these animal sacrifices, they're works. No, they're not works. They're rituals showing faith. Hebrews 11. The whole issue of Hebrews 11 is say, by faith, by faith, by faith. These people did this. They showed their faith by what they did. This whole faith work system that we developed from Buckman is idiotic, and it goes against the actual essence of God, the attributes of God, because God can't allow man to be involved anyway with salvation. And the whole work system is set up in order for reconciliation, but they're rituals that show faith. These guys can't get that straight.
Which is clearly wrong. And that's a whole other study. I'm not going to get into it right now. I've talked about that. So I don't agree with that. But here's the lesson.
Well, you're wrong. He's right. He's right. There's no work system anywhere. And of course, what they do is guys switch around. They go, oh, under the law. Then they actually want to sneak it before the law. It's really under the law of Moses. And they had to do this, had to do that. That was just the ceremonies and rituals they had to do. They, and of course that was their walk. Their walk was determined by obeying those rituals, and so they were under that system of walking by those rituals and being punished with their lives, physically, blessing and cursing. It's always, you see that in Deuteronomy, it's physical, but it's blessing, cursing, not eternal life. But these guys, yeah, they gotta, keep switching terms on you. The fact that it goes right to the root of God's essence. God does not allow it's either faith or it's works. If it's works, then God is beholden on you. You've earned something, and now God is in debt. God is never in debt, people. Get that through your heads. The faith work systems puts God in debt to man. You owe God. Man can say, "You owe me now because I did this." Man can never tell God God owes him something. These people are nuts.
Bryan, I have really learned a lot from your teachings. Teaching the truth has been a big blessing in my life.
See how sweetly I approach him? See, that's how he wants to be approached, people.
I especially love your teaching on the time of Jacob's trouble and dispensation. It makes so much sense, and I bear witness to it. It is truly an answer to prayer, and I am extremely grateful to you for being obedient to the Lord.
See, that's how you got to approach God. That's the letters he wants. He's not answering letters if you come back, anything harsh.
I was very interested in the book, One Book Rightly Divided. As I searched out the book online, I was directed to Dr. Stauffer on the show Prophecy Watchers, discussing his book with the host Gary Stearman, which also showed Dr. Stauffer's many visits to the show. Although Prophecy Watchers has some truths, catching away of the body before God's wrath and dispensationalism, this program, among many, was designed to cause confusion and dupe the body of Christ. I would have to agree with that, yeah. What I've seen of that program, and I did actually a video come out rebuking them not long ago because they had this guy that created the artificial intelligence Bible, whatever. There's some real heretical stuff on that show. Prophecy Watchers I'm talking about.
See, the whole idea is, watch from prophecy. I don't know what prophecy watchers would stand for because the rapture is imminent. We're not watching for anything. See, that's how the confusion you get in here when you try to date the rapture or look for the rapture in terms of prophetic events going on around you. This guy, that guy, this event, this event. We don't look for events. The next prophetic event's going to happen is going to be the rapture. There's nothing that's going to tell us what's going to trigger that off. That's it. So you don't look for prophecy in this dispensation. We're not a period of time of looking for prophecies.
This sent a red flag and grieved me. Dr. Stauffer's appearance on the show may be nothing to be alarmed about, but worth further investigation. I sure hesitate to say guilt by association here. The host, Gary Stearman of Prophecy Watchers, has frequent guests such as Billy Crone, New Version Heretic, Tom Horn, major issue there, connections to the Catholics and stuff, and L.A. Marzulli, to name a few. L.A. Marzulli, I think, is the guy. He talked about giants or aliens or something, I forget. But Gary Stearman also flaunts lots of Masonic occult hand signals during the show.
Okay, we stop here and move forward. See, going to the messianic stuff. About 5 minutes in. I think that's what he talks about.
Maniac nuts. Okay. Infowars, obviously, no, not going to do anything with that. There's a couple others, that if I would ever be invited, I'd say.
He's talking about why he wouldn't appear on shows and these, Infowars and that type of thing.
No, don't think so. I had a brother actually that was trying to get me to do a live debate thing with Alex Jones and Steven Anderson versus myself and this brother. I'm not interested in going on the Infowars thing. No. So, continuing here. One way the Holy Spirit began to show me these false teachers was their undoing confusion, and many were pushing the election of Trump. She has cough. And Mark Taylor's so-called prophecy. Yeah, anybody that supports Donald Trump has got serious issues. Okay, I question.
Now remember the alternative people, Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. That's the only two options you had, people. And we live in a republic, you vote. So that's it. That's it. And Donald Trump so far has been a very good president. That's why he's drawing the left wing is crazy. He was for nationalism, sovereignty, against globalism. That's what we should be for.
And the salvation of people like that. All right. Pray for.
So he's questioning people who support for Trump. That's what you just said here, people. If you supported Trump, he questions your salvation. How many things this guy is going to question your salvation on? Go back here, 542.
Issues. Okay, I question the salvation of people like that. All right.
Because he sees me on a Trump show all the time. That's what he's talking about.
Pray for your leaders, certainly all that stuff. But when you're just
Yeah, pray for the leaders off that stuff. Yeah.
you know,
See, this guy hides out in some Maine, in early Maine. Doesn't take any responsibility, civic responsibility. These are guys who don't think they've got to vote. They don't have to serve on juries. They don't have to pay taxes. They don't have to defend the country. They don't have any responsibility. They think they have no responsibility to the country they live in. Of course, this guy doesn't work, so why would he have responsibility?
we got to get this guy in there and stuff. He's just
He was the only, get this guy in there. It was either him or Hillary Clinton. We got to get this guy in there. We had to get him in instead of Hillary Clinton. See how you twist things? That was him or nobody else. That was it. That was Hillary.
Jesuit trained. First of all, he's a fornicating.
Jesuit trained. See? These guys always go back to this idiotic idea. Everyone's Jesuit trained. Everyone's a Jesuit to this guy. Nutcase. He's a fornicator. Yeah, a lot of guys in the Old Testament are fornicators. Like David. Okay? A lot of people were caught up in that. So what? What does that have to do with how he's ruling? He's leading, I should say, not ruling. I'm talking about King David and how he ruled. No, it's just substance this criteria. He's Jesuit trained and he's a fornicator. Now he's going to be upset because he's rich.
Slob.
He's a slob. He's a slob. The guy is coming up there and making these sacrifices for his country. And yet Trump's the slob. No, this guy hasn't done nothing for his country. This guy's not one. Trump. This guy, Bryan Denlinger, has not done one thing for his nation. Not one thing. What gives him the thing that gives him freedom of religion and freedom of speech. Here he is, July 4th. We're talking about July 4th, really after this midnight. But July 4th, and here is a guy who's never done one thing for his country.
Talk about love of money is the root of all evil. Let's get a billionaire president. He won't be evil.
The love of money is the root of evil. What makes you think because he's rich, he has a love of money? You know, you'd be surprised how many rich people who don't care about money. You'd be surprised. They don't really make that big a deal about it. George Washington was very rich, according to stance of his time. See? So he thinks because you're rich, you have a love of money. Look and go to the Old Testament, see how many people were rich. The love of money is the root of evil. Not having money is the root of evil or evil. It's the love of money. Just because he's a billionaire doesn't mean he has love of money. A lot of things like this issue is winning. They like to win. The money comes secondary.
You thought that one out, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, Brian. A lot more than you did. See, he thinks because you're rich, you have a love of money. That's how dumb this guy is. These guys actually work for a living, for one thing. They actually produce something. Brian doesn't produce anything in his life. And they make money as secondary things. They like what they're doing, and they make money as a result. They're not doing it for the love of money. They're doing it because they like what they're doing. They like the competition. They like the winning. And the money follows. And they work. And if Trump hadn't stepped in when he did, Hillary Clinton would be president of the United States now. And you talk about the globalist conspiracy. Everything was about bringing her in, controlling the Supreme Court, controlling all the courts. Then you'd have gun control. Then you'd have the entire nation basically under the thumb of the globalists. But Brian's thought this out.
While one false teacher I listened to, ostracized by the others, tried to persuade his audience just the opposite. Again, confusion. In my opinion, the powers that be hired Mark Taylor to predict Trump's election. I've listened to his so-called prophecy, and it is full of dominionism, and he claims an angel spoke to him. Careful now. Last time I checked, this is how we ended up with Mormonism. Very true. For the first time being awake, I didn't vote. I realized that...
So you're not voting, you voted for Hillary. That's what it is. If you don't vote for the person who should be in there, you're voting for the other person. If Hillary got in it, you would have gotten in there because she was just too, you know, too. I can't vote. Got too many important things to do.
I realize the powers that be are going to put in the one that will best fit their agenda. Trump is playing a vital role in.
Powers to be, American people elected Trump, and the ultimate power to be is God. The ultimate one who puts people in is God. God put Donald Trump. That's the whole issue. God put Donald Trump in office.
The last days. Thank you again. The ministry is a real blessing. P.S. Just watched as Anderson's Catholic cult falling, and I probably don't need to tell you this, but because you seem very in tune with what is going on with the fakers, a thought came to me as I watched and listened, as you are keenly aware.
These are women who think they're intelligent, and they get inside. So that's why they're writing to Bryan. That's why they cling to Bryan, because they want to feel like they're really involved with this sort of stuff, and they're learning, and they're I'm watching this and I'm watching that, and I'm getting in tune. He's not teaching them anything. He's not teaching them anything. They're more confused than ever because of this guy.
Liars lie. Anderson may not have fired Tyler Baker or anybody else. Kind of makes me wonder. Is Mr. Baker and others in on the cover-up? And
see what they think? That's what they're learning? To look at Anderson and his issues when his church was going on? That's what they're watching? Who knows and who cares? Anderson happens to be right on the Trinity. These other guys are saying Jesus Christ is the Father, which is what Bryan is saying. But Bryan just wants to put a little slant on it and say it's the Godhead. But he says Jesus Christ is the Father.
They may secretly still be friends. Professional wrestling, in other words. This could be another one of their scare tactics. As if to say,
who cares? Who cares about Anderson? What Anderson's doing?
Say, watch this in your face. We have kicked out men high up in the church. We will not hesitate to do this to you if you do not agree with us. We will
It's doctrinal issue. They like to kick him out. That's heresy. And Bryan just goes off and hides off in Maine somewhere.
Publicly humiliate you. Isn't it awful? The deception is so deep the sheep will not catch on, and there is no untwisting it, nor do they want to. Thank you again for standing for the truth.
That's a lie right there. Bryan's to step in truth.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's entirely possible that the Tyler Baker thing, him getting kicked out over the Trinity issue. And it's not really even that these guys, Tyler Baker's not even becoming a Godhead believer or.
See, he's got a whole new definition of the issue with the Trinity. Godhead believer. He's made it up from just out of his head. The Godhead believer. See, it's not a Trinitarian, it's a Godhead believer. You got to believe that Jesus Christ is the body, and the Father is the soul, and the Holy Spirit is the Spirit. That's the Godhead believer. He meant the term. That doesn't exist. Godhead has to feel refers to the actual attributes of God as nature. It doesn't refer to the persons or parts.
What's the other guy? Garrett Kirchway or whatever. These guys, you listen to what they teach on their beliefs on the Godhead, and it's not what the scriptures teach. It's heretical. So they're not.
So Bryan's the only one teaching the truth, and his little few disciples on the Godhead. He's the only one teaching the truth. And only he understands that it's three parts. But he says Jesus Christ is the Father.
They're not presenting the truth, and that's why they got kicked out of Anderson's cult. And Anderson is going to do anything to promote himself.
And why is this video not on Patreon? Why is it on YouTube instead of on Patreon? He makes a big deal. Patreon people get the videos. He just put YouTube on there free. Who's robbing his subscribers? If I were a Patreon subscriber, I'd be upset. Why are you putting this on YouTube? You're supposed to be I'm paying you to get content for Patreon, and here you're putting this stuff on YouTube. Well, anybody can see it.
Just as simple as that. I mean, that's why mainstream media will cover the guy. He'll allow his head to be kicked in by, well, not kicked in, but smashed into glass or whatever, by border patrol guys. He'll get kicked out of airports. He'll get called a hate preacher or whatever. He has specifically been raised up to make Bible believers, those who hold to the King James Bible, to make us look bad.
To make them, no one makes us look worse than Bryan Denlinger. No Bible believer, King James Bible believer, makes us look worse than Bryan Denlinger with his racist attitudes and his idiotic views on doctrine. No one can take on his false gospel and everything. And the guy, there's nothing. No one can make us look worse than Bryan Denlinger on the King James Bible. King James Bible believers. This guy makes us look like a bunch of crazy people because that's what he is.
But back onto the thing of Doug Stauffer. The way I look at it, if you're on a show like that, this Prophecy Watchers thing, and all these other heretics are on there, number one, why would the people who run the show want you on there if you're a strong Bible-believing Christian? That raises a red flag. Number two, as a Bible-believing Christian, if you're strong, why would you go on to something like that? I mean, wouldn't you investigate who these people are? That's, I've been contacted by different people and things, and hey, we'd like to get you and be part of this and whatever else. No. It's not that I'm trying to run a cult or I'm afraid or whatever. No.
It's not that I'm trying to run a cult. I'm afraid. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. With Bryan, everything's the opposite of what he says. No, it is yes, it is. You are trying to run a cult. The only one knows what this Godhead nonsense is. The Godhead. Now you're attacking. People before voted for Trump, you probably lost because he's rich.
Oh, it's just I need to give an account for myself and for this ministry before the Lord, and yoking up with other people that have been tied into other organizations and other things. Nope, sorry, I don't want anything to do with it. So,
but he'll yoke up with who you can see here, Eric Phelps. And he has this big video, this hour video on when he talked with Eric Phelps on Jesuit infiltration. And Phelps is a white nationalist, supremacist. There's no problem yoking up with him. Buddies, he wanted to be buddies with Eric Phelps. Stop here, put this up. More nonsense from Bryan Denlinger. And, so you have to be sweet lady to write to him and, oh, thank you so much, and this, and then what he's talking about, nothing doctrinal. It was not even anything doctrinal. I don't like Stauffer, Stauffer appealing on this and this show and blah blah blah. And Anderson's, you think, who cares? The Godhead. You don't understand the Godhead. He made that up, people. Godhead is mentioned 3 times in the King James Bible, and it refers to the attributes of God. And Jesus Christ has all the attributes of God because He is God. But the fact is that it's not meant to refer to the parts. This idiotic idea of parts is so bizarre, so weird. It talks about Anderson making King James Bible believers look bad. They're neck and neck. Boy, oh boy, they neck and neck on that issue. Then of course, if we go for Trump, we'll question your salvation. Love money, rule all evil. How do you know what he feels about money? You know what he feels about money. It's the love of money, it's rule all evil. Not having money, it's rule all evil. And he's actually a step down from living in the White House and all the abuse he's taken in order to try to get this country back on the right course. Ultimately, God is in control. But God raises up men. We celebrated July 4th because God raised up a man, George Washington, who was the man of the hour. Raised him up. He held the whole thing together. Lincoln was a man of his hour. God raises up men for particular reasons. Trump is one of those men. I believe God raised him up because we're on the brink of electing Hillary Clinton. And that would have been a full-blown disaster. But Bryan Denlinger doesn't have any appreciation for this country. He's never done anything for this country. He's never served for anything, never did anything, never served anybody, anything, anytime, anywhere. It's all about Bryan Denlinger. He's a taker. And he doesn't appreciate guys like him. Don't appreciate the freedoms they've been given in this country. Take them for granted. Take them for granted. And they just think they just have a right to these freedoms. Now, someone has to go out and fight for them. Protect you. Law enforcement, military. Make sacrifices. But we'll stop here, put this up, and continue on with the legacy of Bryan Denlinger and his Godhead cult. Amen. Thank you.